It's Monday again. The weekend of Apex is safely behind us. Which means it's time... I think it's time to have a comfortable, casual little sit-down and go back and watch these Apex matches with little to no stress. I know it's kind of prime chess time right now, but some people may be sick and tired of that already, so we'll see if something a little more casual is up your alley. Just quickly getting set up here. Gotta make sure, as always, gotta make sure I can see the YouTube and the Twitch chats. Even though they get fed into each other, I don't want to miss anything special. Like Super Chat stickers, for example. Alright, I think I'm all set here. I've got myself a beverage all poured already. The only thing is I'm just gonna briefly hide my screen while I get into the Apex window, because I don't want to give away any matches that I won or lost. I think it's a little bit more fun. I know I keep saying this is meant to be a stress-free stream, but I do think it's a little bit more fun if we at least go into the matches not knowing what the end result is. So we'll load up the first one, and then I'll take a swig, and then we'll get the screen unhid. So before we start, I will say, I think I ended last week around 1680? Does that make sense? No. It must have been 1780? Yeah, because my goal was to get to Gold 1. So I was hoping to be able to just get one game done, get to Gold 1, and that, you know, feels like progress. It's a whole new tier, a whole new rank. So that was my goal going into this weekend. So I have a few games for you here. The first game is against fellow prominent main chord celebrity, AThousandNinjas. Reppin' that Alpha avatar, although sad not to see Alpha in the box this time. I fought AThousandNinjas during my qualifiers at the very start of the season, and he did have Alpha in his box at that time, and I lost. So, a little bit relieved not to see the Alpha, which freaked me out last time. Alright, so just rocketing through pick and ban here. I tend to get rid of Lucretia's early just because she is a very threatening creature. Had to switch to main box to start winning. Yeah, I feel that. I mean, I guess that's worth pointing out. Last week, during last week's streams, I had the Transcender in my box, and I actually got to use him in a few games. I think I got him in about 5 games. This week, though, my Emperor Autocrato hit 6 stars, so he came back in to claim his spot, at least hoping to see how he works for me. That doesn't mean that Transcender's completely out of the box, just that I wanted to see what a 6-star auto would do, and that's his spot. So Ninja's going with a tank right away, and I'm continuing my little theme of banning out DPS that scare me. Ninja's also going for a Rosen Seal here. And at this point, Ninja's gets Yulia. And Yulia was one of the characters that I was considering banning at this stage. Knowing that I wasn't going to be able to pick a tank to deal with Elwyn, although I probably could have brought Sissy, who can at least temporarily deal with Elwyn. I don't really have an answer for Yulia, which I should be more aware of. And very quickly, this is shaping up to be a Protect the Yulia team, with the tank and the healer picked right out of the gate. Probably should have seen that going in. So another tank comes out on Ninja's side, and another healer, and or pseudo tank, depending on who he gets. So 2 good healers, 2 good tanks, and a Yulia. And I have 3 assassins and an IBC and this Autocrato, who isn't really going to do too much against this comp. So obviously my win condition here is somehow getting rid of the Yulia. Whether that means basically assassinating her 4 times in a row. Obviously she's the only DPS, so she has to go down at some point. Ninja's win con is a little bit more straightforward. He's got a lot of protection here, so he can basically slowly move in and pick away at my units. So let's just get her started and see how she goes. So at this point, I'm just kind of getting set up. There's no real point in me trying to move in right away, too early. I do want to try to remain aware of Yulia's range with the potential Act again, and also the potential Tenyo Breeze. Because I know that she's mostly going to want to stay around her tanks. But if she does see an opportunity to move in and take out one of my important units, I don't really have too much of an answer for her with her in amongst my team. That was really just a test to see if Rosen was fixed immune or not. I knew that Cherie wasn't going to be able to do much. She's just there to kind of prod and then run back to the team. If anything, what my Cherie can do against this team is basically just pick off Hilda's anti-crit aura and then run away. So yeah, Otto not doing anything against this Rosen Seal. Got the clock at least. And there's that breeze that I was thinking about. So at this point, Yulia moves to position herself quite aggressively, so I had a few units there who are in the danger zone. So if I hadn't moved Epsilon to hide him, IBC is also within Yulia's threat range, and Werner was initially as well, so I moved him away first. Then he got the Act again, and I just aggressively positioned my Epsilon to hide him so he's no longer a target as well. Yulia ends up going in for the Cherie. Doesn't quite finish her. So that was the revival coin. Cherie's basically just a stack for my Epsilon at this point. So Ninjas uses this little floral proc to get my Epsilon shield down. So pretty much the only thing, I want to get his action in because he's in danger. And I target the healer. Getting the Rosen out of the way is actually pretty big for me. Ninjas in the chat says, at this point it was all about how I was going to kill Epsilon. Yeah, that's pretty true. I mean, Werner's still dangerous, but knowing that I'm going to need to kill your Yulia a couple times, having Epsilon out of play is very important for you here. So this is a nasty move, actually. Routs Epsilon and stuns him in the fog. Well, it'll be fog next turn. Freed is hyped for that Epsilon route. Yeah. So right here, Ninja says he should have used Yulia to take out Epsilon. Yeah, it's a fair play for you not to immediately think of that, given that even while I'm playing this, I've basically written off Epsilon for dead. Like, he's gonna use a turn in the fog when he's stunned. You know, at first glance, that's dead Epsilon, so it kind of makes sense from your perspective to prioritize another target here. So I do take out the other healer, and that kill cleanses Epsilon of his stun, which means he's back in the game. So Otto does go down. He's not really important to me. My Epsilon's just going to go hide in the corner, out of range, and get his faction buff back. This is the first pick with Werner. Death Queen, hello, welcome to the chat. That was a fair attempt there at the end from Ninja's perspective. He knew that Epsilon was going to be killing that Yulia anyway. Tristan, drop near Yulia. Not only is it a drop near Yulia, it's a Thorns drop near Yulia. This is the AThousandNinjas special. He's got a famous Yulia that you would appreciate. So with that first win in the books, it felt climactic to me, Lone Bird. Freed, what streaming program do I use? I use OBS. And I use Restream to stream it to Twitch and YouTube. So that was my first win. That was enough to get me up to 1801. So I'm in Gold 1 at this point. But since it was the first game, I didn't want to stop there. So I'm on a win streak at this point. I figure I'll continue on, do a couple more games, see how they go. Just see how far I can go. All these games took place in one window, by the way. It was the only time I had to play that weekend. Pepsi at least was available to follow up and kill her there, if necessary. And to be honest, I think it would have been necessary, but Ninjas kind of knew that with Epsilon up, that game was already pretty much in the books. So the next game I loaded in against Wynteressence. Banning Lucretia first again, first picking IBC again. I was trying this last weekend where I was basically just first picking IBC with whatever follow-up picks, just to get a feel for how she works with different units in my box, and I'm continuing that this weekend. Trying IBC with whoever. So this time it's Kyra. And picking the auto into Kyra is not bad for me. I also bring Lucretia, just in case. These are a lot of, well, he's harder to kill with magic these days, but I figure one of the options I have for success here is maybe melting down this Hilda with Lucretia. We'll just see how the game goes, what I end up needing. I get my auto in as well, so we're going to have a little auto versus auto match. And even though there's a Hilda, with these last two guys up, I went ahead and brought the Archon. At worst, he can just, like, hit stuff. At best, maybe I do end up having to kill this Hilda, and then after Hilda's dead, then I can use Archon to my advantage. It's last pick. Just see how he goes. So this is a kind of a bulk lord team. These guys are both bulky, although not necessarily against her. Tristan, dirty assassin box. Do you mean my box? If so, yes. So what do we got? We got infantry on auto here. And sword dance. He does bring the Templars on his Hilda, so she's not going to be as easy to just melt through with Lucretia. So I'm getting Archon out of the way right at the start, because he's not going to be doing anything anytime soon anyway. Buff up. Put some range on my team. Now at this point, I have an opening for a dirty, annoying auto attack, knowing I can run back a little bit with my Spirit Boots. I clocked it too. He puts Lewin right out front, and I figure this is my chance just to poke, just to see if this is actually possible. No crit, but I do kill Valuin. Oh man, that was a shorter match than I remembered. But that was all about maybe Kyra can kill this Lewin. I don't know if that means he was not on tiemats, but he went down. That was enough for a nice, quick second win. Matthew Sheldon, at the start of a match, pretty much always go for the power attack on her as opposed to defensive formation, because when you're starting a match, when you're opening up, having that extra unit range from the like fake breezes on 3 of your units is super, super OP. Later in a match, or if you're kind of backed into a corner, or if you need extra healing, then the defensive formation can come in handy, but I don't usually open with it. Yeah, Lonebird hit the nail on the head there. Lewin was not away from his team. He was standing right next to one of his teammates, which for his Sansi infantry is not an advantage. Alright, so let's find game 3. Alright, you're gonna like this one. Tristan, you'll like this one. It's actually a very interesting Origins box. So for game 3, I loaded in against Langosta and his Origin-focused box. First ban of Himiko there is interesting. I banned D-Heart first just because he is obviously a good kind of primary Origins buffer. It does leave him with Freya and Jugler remaining as Origins buffers, but picking either of those requires that he first picks a tank. Red, Freed beat this dude with 2 actions. Wow, awesome, good for Freed. Anytime I find a unique box, it kind of throws me for a loop of like what my ban priorities are, so I don't think I'm going to be winning this in 2 actions. Secret Keebs, yeah. Keebs is the puppet master behind the scenes here. So he does go with Jugler first pick. That's going to secure his Origins buff. I banned Toa early here, largely because I know I'm not going to be picking a faction buff for my team. So that makes Toa quite powerful because she's able to assassinate. Not that I'm really picking a tank either, but I wanted to get rid of her. So he's picking up Leonhardt and Luna to give additional range to the team. I'm officially tankless. Now we get the Gerald and Layla, so Keebs would definitely be proud. I do end up banning the Freya just so I don't have to deal with a couple tanks. This gives him the option of bringing 5th pick one of these mages. And thankfully I actually can use Archon to his full potential in this match because there's no anti-displacement here. One thing I have to look out for is Leonhardt's anti-act again debuff that he can give you, since she has an act again, he has an act again, he has an act again, and he has an act again. It is not uncommon to get caught with that and forget that it's on you. I've definitely used, like, Elwyn's little move again move, or Chivalry on someone, and then just end the turn there, and it's so embarrassing. Soda pumped to see Gerald and Layla in action in Apex. Gold 1. Here we go. We got a young Jessica here, too. Definitely an interesting box. And it puts me up against a team that is kind of like a wildcard team. Like, I don't really 100% know how to deal with it. Now, with Mech Knights on Gerald and Layla, they can reach very easily, even without Luna's help. Luna's got these little Dragon Knights, so she's quite bulky. So I'm immediately hiding my Epsilon just because I immediately recognized that he was a potential target for Gerald and Layla on the first turn. I never thought I would hear myself saying that I'm scared of Gerald and Layla. So I did have to put Wet Ham in Gerald and Layla range to space out enough to allow me to give Archon this movement buff from IBC. Because seeing Leonhardt down there on the trees, I figured I might have an Archon play coming where I could pull him and kill him. I go for the Luna instead, which is kind of a sketchy proposition with elementals, given her strong magic defense, but I do manage to net the kill there. And what that gives me is a less mobile young Jessica. I was worried about her being able to come all the way in through that Luna aura and finish off this Elwyn, but I don't think she can reach now. So a last-ditch effort by Archon there saves Elwyn's life. Archon at least has a revive, so that's fine. So now Elwyn can get himself refreshed up with his little post or pre-battle healing. This guy's a menace. Leonhardt's already committed, so Ham goes in to kill Gerald and Layla. And that one's over. I have a very healthy IBC and, of course, a fully loaded Epsilon in the back lines. With just a Jugler and a Leonhardt, there's not much he's going to be able to do against that one. So that was another relatively quick match. Certainly not Freed level quick. Had to take a couple turns there, not just 2 actions. So that was, what, game 3 in the books? Alright, 4th game. This one is another interesting box. Remember that debate we were having last week in main court about how, you know, everyone's Apex boxes are the same and there's no variety in Apex? Well, we got Ben. So we know Ben's going to be running an interesting box. Michelle, not super uncommon. Aka and Estelle and Luna, all for mobility boost. We also have a Sakura. We also have Emperor Lavina, who's another mobility booster. And we have Maya as well. And I think this is the first Maya I've seen in Apex. I mean, I know there are people out there who use her, but this is the first time I've actually fought her. So, and it's on everyone's favorite floating courtyard map. He first bans my Rosen Seal, so I have to assume he's going AoE on me. Yeah, we got some Sakura and Maya hype in the chat. That's fair. And sure enough, we're going to get to see Maya in action. Third pick Maya. It's a good Empire AoE. And then Sissy. So I was half expecting Licorice there just for more AoE, but Sissy at least gives another tank option as well. So I'll go Sissy as well. Zuko, you use Maya. Maya does some sneaky things, which I learned in this match. So let's see what we're up against. Sure enough, we have Gargoyle's Ham, but it's an AoE ham. I think that's pretty normal for Maya. No guard on the Bernhardt, so he has Sword Dance. It's another AoE unit. So his primary guard is going to be the Sissy. Yeah, exactly, Lone Bird. Here's my Pepsi. He has no buffs right now, because the game hasn't started yet. So my game plan in this match is pretty much, first of all, see what the ham is going to do and potentially try to assassinate the ham, or kill the ham with one of these two units. After that, I pretty much just have to basically, I'm not too worried about the Maya. I think she's fairly easy to kill. And then just wail away on the Bernhardt. So really, what's going through my mind right now is don't get comboed. Just don't let him combo me and hit me with follow-up and hit me with more follow-up. So I'm keeping an eye on Ham's range, or his threat range here, with that AoE, because I don't really want him to be able to... Let's take a quick look. I don't want him to be able to, like, if it's potentially boots, use his sword to act again and come in here and AoE my whole team, and me not have any follow-up left to kill him. So I'm really trying to keep, like, Lucretia or IBC for the end, so that if he does make that move, I'll be able to clean up the ham. That's another interesting move that I have to pay attention to. So Maya is obviously making her play for this. I have buffs now, but her 3C is 5 range, so she can easily reach him. If she gets up in here, she can 3C, and all my buffs are gone, and then my faction buff is on a 3-turn cooldown. So I don't really have a way to stop that, other than maybe an attempt with this, which we'll probably see in a moment. But I don't really know what the range on Sissy's summon is, so I move back to summon up here, and just throw him in the way. But as you can see just from eyeballing this, that is one tile too short to block her off fully. So she comes up into the corner, nails me with this 3C, and all of my buffs are turned into these ugly red debuffs. Here's a good play. So he did make the play that he wanted to. That was his opening. He has a couple other scary potential things, though, right? Like, he has presumably a very long-range Balance Blade Bernhardt who can come in here and mix things up. We also have this Ham who's in prime position to come and mix things up. But now that I can go, look, I can't reach anyone with this Lucretia, but I do have a little bit of range from my puppet. So that's the play I opt to make, to get Ham off the table first before he can do anything. Epsilon is consigned to waiting in the back row for 3 turns. Now here's another play I have available to me. Cherie can now bounce off this and get her act again, but unfortunately, she can't reach anyone to follow up from that. I'm just going to kill it anyway. Caught a lucky breeze. That was some luck right there. I caught a breeze for her act again just in time, so I run up and stun the Bernhardt. IBC can reach this with her act again. And Ben calls it a day after that. So I didn't want to get comboed. I got some big luck there. He got the play that he wanted with his Maya. But it just barely allowed me to squeak Lucretia forward, take out one of his DPS, get a totally fluky lucky breeze on Cherie to stun his other DPS, and that was enough to put him in a hole. That was a combo straight from the heavens. Yeah, Dope, I think that's probably part of it. Like, I don't think he needed to totally open with the Maya there. But at the same time, just like I was worried about the Ham, and I was just like laser focused on what his Ham was going to do to open up from his side, that was probably how he was feeling about my Epsilon. So I can understand that. Alright, and that game ended with 90 seconds left in the Apex window, so I quickly requeued for one more match. And it's against Aska for the win, who has a very meta box. Yes, the Maya play, he wins the respect game. He took my Epsilon out of the match for 3 turns anyway. So I'm going to get IBC first pick again for the 5th game in a row. Suits me just fine. I'm not sure who to pick if she's banned. Getting auto again. Another auto versus auto match. And another game where Cherie feels like she's not going to be doing anything. So that's kind of like 3 semi-useless Cheries that I've deployed this week. I don't know if she's going to make it. Don't know if she's going to stay in the box. So here I was once again with the unenviable position of having either Archon or Elwyn against a Hilda. At least Elwyn has a couple legs up over Archon. 1, he can buff Cherie. And 2, he can at least strip buffs with his 3C. So we've got an Angels, Helena. Yeah, there's definitely an argument that I should be banning Hilda earlier. Rip Kyutaru. I swear it's not on purpose. Don't worry. This is my last game, and I'm not streaming anything super interesting. Like Freekong Ancient Beckoning, for example. Alright, so my game plan here has to be potentially use the Kyra to assassinate the Helena and or the Archon. I can use Cherie to pick off Hilda's anti-crit buff. He's really just a pest at this point, but also a temporary tank, because I don't have a real tank, so I brought my guard skill on him in case he needs to guard against physical attacks from these three. So I'm hiding my Elwyn, because I don't want him to get Helena double killed. He's getting his Helena into position. Takes my buffs and runs away. Big ol' meanie. Now, here's something. My intention here, and I used a lot of my backup time to try to deliberate about this. I put her up here on a forest because I was trying to bait this Helena into attacking her. The theory is that an Angel's Helena will actually counter-kill herself against a 6-star IBC. This is a pretty decent IBC. So I was hoping to bait the Helena here. Yeah, that's one thing you can't really tell from these replays, is the backup time ticking down. I'm actually fairly low already here because I've been trying to decide like how I'm going to set up this move and what I'm going to do with these while I'm doing it. So I'm doing the same thing here, just grabbing a couple buffs off him and then running back. Now this is interesting. My running theory now is that he wants to bring this auto up here to do an AoE and soften her up so the Helena kill is safer. But for him to do that, he has to go here. So my Cherie could kill him if he moves there. So I want to keep Cherie just in case, although with Act Again I don't think I'm going to have the ability to keep a unit behind. So I move Elwyn down. But unwittingly what I've done by doing that is I actually put my Elwyn in this Helena's range. He was nice and safe up here because she couldn't, like, move through the trees as easily. Well, she just got a movement boost there from Sissy anyway, so she would have been able to do it with Shiv. But regardless, my plans for baiting with Florentia are scuppered unless he decides to prioritize Florentia over Elwyn. But why would anyone do that? Elwyn's such a juicy target to take both lives off. So here she comes. Oh, and that's the last proc! Elwyn survives with his revive. So that might answer Kyutaru's question about whether that's a good Helena. She didn't get the crit, but she wasn't able to kill my Elwyn at all. So that puts me one leg up. Now here's where the backup timer debuff starts to get to me, because I'm getting 15-second flashing numbers in my face, so I'm starting to make very hasty decisions. For example, that Kyra attempt on auto was very premature. I needed to get the anti-crit off, I needed to get my team set back up. This I was doing just to blow my last skill and get that Lancer off the board, knowing I'd be able to teleport back. Not a huge deal. Obviously not going into Auto Aura is going to be better than going into Auto Aura, yeah. Really all I'm doing right now is just putting damage on Hilda to try to keep healer pressure up on his side. Obviously again here knowing that Cherie's not going to do too much. Also Hilda has Gospel, so she's not going to get stunned. And I'm just kind of cannonballing my units at them right now. Since they're kind of cornered in the fog, they want to keep up on their healing, but they're very easily able to do that. So I come back to rebuff the rest of my team here. Elwyn's looking like he's kind of in trouble in there. Not to just an auto attack. Cherie wants to get back to safety. And I'm just eating 3 Cs from this guy. He actually teleported my Elwyn back kind of to relative safety here. Another sword dance, another clock. But Kyra's finally able to get a kill over here, taking out the sissy. What a mess. Alright, let's try to stop and take a breather for a second here. I do still have all my units, but we're in kind of rough shape. She has a skill back. But no buffs. Half of us can't heal. At least I have all my units. So the game plan here is still try to figure out a way to kill this auto, whether that means like basically plucking with this and then getting Kyra's skill on him. And also trying not to suicide myself with reckless attacks. Like the first half of this match. So here's the skill. Auto lives that with 800 hit points. That's a Kyra with no buffs. Well, she has the soldier buff from Florentia. That was also without me moving at all. Running away, lots of running away. What is this, my 5th auto 3C that I've had to eat? Rebuffing with flow. Get something on this Kyra. Glory of the World saving me there. Elwyn really just doing this to heal up. Also strip some buffs. Did I strip the good one? I did. She's not guarding. So Elwyn actually managed to hang on through thick and thin and actually do something. Cherie, of all people, finally able to come up and finish off that auto in Otto's aura. And the rest of Asuka's team is stuck in the fog here, so that is game over. Yeah, Zanson, I think the other big advantage was all the mistakes I kept making. So the end of this match ended up being like half an hour after the Apex window closed. But that was 5 games in that window, and that was enough to get me right at the end into Langrisser, barely into Langrisser. So now I feel like I can kind of sit tight. I feel half decent. I don't know what the playoff cutoff is going to be this year. If the last couple seasons have been any indication, it's probably going to get a little bit lower than it was last season even. So, you know, optimistically thinking like 1930, maybe thinking as low as like 1920. So I'll probably, if I keep my win streak, I think I'm on like an 8-game win streak right now. Maybe I only need one more win to get myself a playoff position. I'll play a little bit more than that just because. But what that also means is that for the next couple weekends, I'll be able to focus on Freekong memeing a little bit more. In the past, I haven't done a Freekong Apex stream until the very last window because I'm usually a giant procrastinator, and me and Tristan have to get me into Lang on the very last day. So now that I'm here, next couple weeks I can actually spend some time doing Freekong stuff. So maybe this weekend coming up, we'll actually have some live games. Live games with Freekong's box, which is going to be totally wild. I did get one game in with Freekong yesterday. And he managed to get a win, and he got 51 points for that win, which brought him up to Bronze 2. So, I don't know, should I show that match? It's not super exciting because it's a Bronze level match. I might as well. We're here. We're here and we're in the mood for Apex. So I'll just briefly switch accounts. Oh, thanks for the follow, by the way, Freed. Hope you got to redeem your Seal Guardian. And who was it the most dope who knocked me out of the top 10 on Jormungandr? Well, what's your in-game name? I'm gonna have to come for vengeance. I didn't even realize I was on the cusp of the top 10 there. Oh, I really don't want to rerun Ancient Beckoning. I think I'll let you have the top 10 for now. Alright, where's that game? Ah, yes, it's the only game. Right. Here's a box, Zanson, if you want to see if this is a playoff-worthy box. So, I loaded in, and I got matched up against darkzero. Now, darkzero has, you know, it's a box. There are threats in here for a bronze-level player. You know, there are good units in here. There's a Yulia, there's an Ares, Helena, Rosalia, some leggy threats. There's a Leonhard in here. There's a non-SP Cherie, that's fine. There's a T-Jess. You know, there's some threats in there. Poor old Kong, by contrast, is dealing with Almeida, Angelica, non-SP Hein, Ainz. The SP Lewin's actually good. I'll grant myself that. We got Sonya and Matthew. We got SP Grenier. He is SP at this point. We got a Puritess, Varna, SP Cherie, another good unit. This is the dawning of the age of Isara. And of course, we have the Shiba team, Hashiba and Shibaraku. So, definitely going to hope to get at least one Shiba in play. Yeah, Xanton, you're right. I basically have to first pick either Lewin or Cherie. And then I can kind of tailor, like, which tank, like if I want to bring Grenier. I really wanted to try Isara. I have some AoEs in here because I want to, like... I think in Bronze, AoEs are kind of like one of the things that Freekong can get away with, since the rest of my units are terrible. But let's see how pick ban goes. So he takes out my Lewin first thing. I take out the Rosen. So I do, of course, get my SP Cherie, my only other good unit. Kaze Vargas will be back when I want to play like an actual like Glory Empire team again. This is just my experimenting with AoEs team. He's first picking his Leon, which is interesting. Now, I didn't know if that's because Leon has, like, an Empire faction buff. I got Angelica out here because she's one of my only remaining healers. I wanted to get a healer in the game. The side benefit of Angelica is that she can also buff time. I have lots of time faction left. My Grenier's gone, so I figure what I'm going to try to do is get Isara next to kind of double as a tank and get Angelica's buff. He does lever for me. 5-star Isara. Decently built for a Freekong character. And we do get one of the Shibas. And what the hell, we get the other Shiba as well. So this is the full meme team ready to go. He does have a tank. And a couple AoEs. So these aren't too OP, obviously. Okay, it's got its 3C. First aid Cherie for some reason. No buffs. No glory buff. No empire. No any buffs. No buffs whatsoever. Alright. And what he does have is 3C. Okay, he brought double guard. Yeah, I brought my extra heal. Alright, let's see how this is going to play out. I initially want to, on the first turn, kind of keep my distance from this Chivalry. I don't want to get pulled by this, and I don't want to be in range of her 3C either. So I'm going to set up kind of like back here to hopefully get myself into position where she can AoE the team, or he can AoE. Like, I think him doing a line shot at one or several of these units is going to be potentially helpful for me. So that's going to be my philosophy setting up. And he's just standing. He's just standing units. He's standing in place. Did he stand with his entire team, or just... Yeah, everyone stood so far. I don't know if that's because he's worried about my own range. Like, maybe he's worried about this? So he doesn't want to, like, push into the middle? Now, bear in mind, this is Bronze 3, so... I have like 1050 points at this point. This might be this person's first ever Apex match, and they're not entirely sure how to approach taking a position in the middle on turn 1. I know, at least for me, even in like high-tier Langrisser matches, opening positioning on turn 1 is stressful. So I don't know if this is a coping mechanism or part of a plan. Oh, my Cherie fails the kill there by 25 hit points, so I just run back. He doesn't make a move to protect that Licorice, so I'm able to just 3C it from way back here. So I think maybe this guy's just shitting me right now. I make Isara a Lancer in case he does decide to come in with Leon this turn. Okay, so there is someone behind the keyboard. Ledden moved. Ledden did a thing. Okay, here we go. Leon's coming in. Not too worried about my Shiba because he's a Lancer. Easy survive. Easy one-shot kill with the other Shiba. Alright, now here, my entire team gets Sakura'd. We're all heal blocked. Fortunately, the only person who actually does active healing didn't get hit by that. Oh, wow. Tomohashiba nets another kill. Isara, unfortunately, doesn't survive his Cherie. And that Cherie comes in and gets 2 kills. Fortunately, it takes more than 1 kill to kill a Shiba. So I'm going to heal back up. Oh, we got a giant Cherie, people! We got a giant Cherie. This is not a drill. Standing next to a tiny Hashiba. Giant Cherie is going to whiff the kill again, so she doesn't kill normal Cherie. But I'm going to run in and just stun this Ledden instead. I think Giant form deals more damage, but also takes more damage, Kaze. So that was the end of Freekong's one and only game that weekend. Kind of a hilarious opening with a... maybe I was starting to get worried about the guy, like maybe he had died at the keyboard. But he wasn't timing out, he was actually ending his character's turns. Yeah, it can change the sprites to huge or tiny or like a transparent invisible-ish color. She's pretty hilarious. So this is where we've gotten old Freekong over the course of the last while. Into Bronze 2 with this winning record, a 37% win rate. That's enough for plus 101 points. So again, I know I was stressing this when I was playing auto chess. If you've never played Apex before and you're watching this and you think it looks fun, or you're watching it and you think it looks stressful, or you don't like PvP, you don't like playing against people, you can have a overall quite losing record. As long as you win a game here and there, you'll advance in points. But more importantly than advancing in points, you're going to learn the ins and outs. You're going to learn the nuances of your box. You'll get more comfortable playing. You'll get rid of some of those nerves of like queuing against another person, and eventually you'll just be comfortable loading in and playing Apex against people. So I do highly recommend, even if you've never played Apex before, just jump in and get some games under your belt. Definitely do your qualifiers, because that loads you up for recurring rewards. So I'm in Bronze 2 here. Like, I'm getting some scrolls every week. It's something to help me build my characters up to a point where I can eventually maybe hit Silver 3. Yeah, PvP is just a great crucible for learning how characters work. And don't get me wrong, you do learn by experience, so you'll definitely, like, fail some things, and you'll whiff kills, and you'll, like, make dumb mistakes and think, oh, why did I do that? When I was in playoffs 2 seasons ago, fighting against Hale, that was, like, right after when SP Cherie came out, so I was still getting used to how her act again mechanic worked. And I attacked one of his units from a place where she couldn't act again, and it cost me the game. And learning that lesson from making that mistake in a playoff match, I seldom made that mistake after that. So it's just a great way to learn how your units work. Anyways, I think I'm a bounce, because it's late, and I have to get up early tomorrow. But I hope you all have great luck. I hope you all had a good Apex climb. Before I go, let me know. Just drop your rank in the comments. Did you manage to get up a rank this week that just passed? Did you get into Lang? I know Kaze said he didn't get into Lang because he was griping that I got there before him. Like an old griper. But I'm not sure how AThousandNinjas did. I hope I didn't cost you too many points on the road to Lang. And Lonebird, I think you've been playing a lot of chess, haven't you? Ah, yeah, well, the pressure's not on to really get your climbing done for another couple weeks anyway. There's still 30 days left. Death Queen, Silver 2. Hey, I would wish that I could get Freekong up to Silver 2 this season. We'll see if I can make it happen. Good luck on your exams, by the way. Drudging around Gold 3. Gold 3 is a great place to experiment with your box, so hopefully you're having a little bit of success. Got into Gold 2 3 times, Lalo. Hey, that means you know you can do it. No matter how many times you fall out, you know. Gold 2, that's something I can do. Definitely the games kind of start to heat up around Gold 2. Oh yeah, the old auto chess is in RNG mode, people. 8-1 for someone who hates the mode. That's definitely a super respectable score. I will say, like, I'm not the biggest fan of the mode. I actually do think it's kind of fun, but even game modes that I don't really like, if the rewards are super enticing and super valuable, like, I'm gonna do it. You know? It's a little bit of time out. Like, for you, playing 9 games to get those rewards, super worth it. I think the rewards for, yeah, like the rewards for getting into the top 500. This is almost like top 512 Apex rewards. So you go the entire Apex season to get yourself into the top 512, which is like 1700, 1740, something like that. And this is what you get for it. And if all you have to do to get those exact same rewards, minus the crystals obviously, is play a few games, like Freekong has lost more games than he's won, and he's really close to the top 500. So, people who are sleeping on this mode because, excuse me, because of what it is, you're basically missing out on a season of Apex rewards. This is a no-brainer to do it game mode. There's AThousandNinjas there. Oh man, Auto Chess Pro. Who else is up here? There's Ben. A couple of the players that I fought. I wonder if Kong's still up here. Kutaru, you're up there. Kaze, there you are. Uh-oh. We're starting to get low. We're starting to get... Oh, there I am. Barely hanging on. I didn't see Tristan up there. Tristan's on vacation, to be fair. Who wants to do this when you're on a beach? Alright, I'm a bounce. I'm gonna go sleep. Thank you all for watching. Thanks for coming out and cheering after the matches were already done, but it still makes me feel... it boosts my morale. So yeah, like I was saying, not super worried about like the stressful Kong climb. Maybe this weekend I'll do some live Freekong Apex matches, and we'll get to make some Isara and Shiba team plays. And we'll do it live. Thanks everyone for tuning in. I'll catch you later on. Happy Langrissing, everyone.
いいな。ここは俺に任せてくれ。